carrots, fake fruit, fake grapefruits, fake liar, you liar.
I love that intro, especially since it says, this is satire. Welcome to Sunday Night Live, though, folks. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's time. It's go time. We've got a weekend behind us. We've got a week out in front of us, folks. It is just it's a freaking disaster. A disaster. But we're here. We're back. We're live. And I'm glad you're with us. I would like you to hit the thumbs up. I would like you to share this video. There's an internet address up there. Share that video address and get this out, because we're going to talk about some topics that I bet a lot of people aren't aware of. I may even have one or two that you're not aware of. That said, it is Sunday Night Live. It's the zoo. That means we're live with YouTube. We're live with Patreon. You guys are all here together in the same room, and you get to throw carrots and peanuts and whatever you want at me. If you're new to the channel, you have to subscribe and wait 30 minutes. That's a big 30 minutes before you're allowed to start commenting. But if you hit that super chat button right up here, there's a super chat button. You can ask a question. That's right. Sunday Night Live is where everybody can come and ask questions. Hit the super chat button, make a donation to the Get the Fuck Back and Stay Back Fund, which is designed to keep me right here, locked in tight, snug as a bug in the bunker. Right? That's what it's there for. It supports the lights. It keeps the spam in the pantry. It does a lot of things, folks. It puts people to work. It keeps us busy, and it keeps the information flowing. You see, the bad guys, in all truth, they really want to silence us, but they can't. Instead, they want to lie to us all they can. And so it's our job to find the facts, to ferret out the truth and talk about it. But, censorship, it works. It does. And that's why they're pushing it so very hard.
Have you any idea how successful censorship is on TV? Don't know the answer? Successful, isn't it?
Oh, censorship works, and it works very well. And I'm not happy about it. So I'm going to continue to fight these bastards. Now, we're going to start off the Sunday Night Live, as we do every week, with a huge contribution, a huge super chat donation from Darcy T, $50 into the PayPal bank account. And she says, "Good evening, John. Just an observation. Wondering if anyone else is being pressured to go back to their office versus work from home. Seems to be a big push for that recently. Elon Musk, for example, and many big corporations. Why do I think something is fishy?" Well, we got a lot of things going on. One of the big ones is the real estate value of commercial property. If corporations aren't going to fill their offices full of employees stuck in cubicles, letting their supervisors, managers, and general managers and board members breathe down their necks all day, then they're relocating, they're downsizing their offices. This is bad. And so, yeah, they're facing a lot of trouble. So you said, why do I think something's fishy? Put your answers in the comments. Put your thoughts on that question, because it does mean something. Now, Elon Musk, he let out one of the problems with this work at home. He was like, if you want to pretend to work, go do it somewhere else. Basically, get your ass back in an office so we can see that you're working. Oh, yeah. One of the things I know is if you're sitting in your desk and your in basket is empty and your out basket is full, your supervisor is going to look at you and say, I guess you need more work. If you're at home, they can't see that. They can say, well, are you done with those 10 papers that were in your inbox? And you can say, oh, I got 6 of them done. I'll get the rest of them done by the end of the day, boss, I swear. Meanwhile, they're finishing up the last one and just setting it there. You're going to go out and have a, I don't know, go play some badminton or some pickleball or some tennis, or go flog their dolphin or punch their clown or something, right? Something. So that's a part of it, is productivity. Now, I know that us older folks tend to have a little bit more of a work ethic than some of these young punks who think, well, if I get 8 hours of work done in 2 hours, then I don't have to tell my boss. And so in a way, yeah, they'll work harder because there's something in it for them, right? Free time. Now, getting people back into downtown areas, right? Stabilizing commercial property values. And let's see, I knew an executive, I still know him rather, an executive who worked in one of these high-rise, big financial freaking corporations. And he said that his, the big kahuna, the owners, wanted to see people come back in because they liked that family feel in the office. They liked that family feel. That was part of getting them back in the office. That old school, I got my thumb on you, right? Under my thumb, kind of a little Rolling Stones tribute there. So having a Kahlua and coffee here, I think. Yep, that's the good stuff. I was trying to stay awake. It's been a long, punishing weekend. Punishing training, physical training. It's funny, you know. doesn't feel easy. Anyways, what I've got, folks, is I've got a lineup of information that I would love to talk to you about. But as always, this is your show. You hit that super chat button up here, hit the PayPal button, send in your questions, and we will get them up on the board, and we'll start talking about what it is that you want to talk about. Thank you again, Darcy, for always kicking the show off with a big question and a big topic. Whew. And this is one topic that I just couldn't wait to talk to you guys about. In fact, it's news that we all missed. I just heard about this today. There is an investigation that's been reopened into the mysterious suicide of yet another Clinton associate. Only this one was linked to Jeffrey Epstein as well, right? Get this, a billionaire, right? A billionaire. Unbelievable. Clinton money man Mark Middleton, I believe, is one of these billionaire types. Big money guy. In a stunning turn of events, right? RadarOnline.com, right? Questioned the suicide death of this guy who was found May 7th. Now get this. He was hanging from a tree with an electrical extension cord, and he had a shotgun blast through his chest, right? An extension cord. This guy's if he's not a billionaire, he's a super duper millionaire, right? He's tied in with Jeffrey Epstein. Oh yeah, by the way, he apparently went down to Epstein's Little St. James, right? On the Lolita Express to go get him some underage goodies, I guess. Several times. That's how high up on the food chain this guy was. Yep, that's how suicide happens. Super rich billionaire uses a chicken shit extension cord, and he shoots a hole in his chest with a shotgun. You know, if I was a billionaire and I needed to commit suicide, I would probably go rent the most expensive penthouse in Vegas, and I would probably get some really good pharmaceuticals and write a really good extensive letter explaining what's going on, and, you know, go out with a smile on my face. Nice, peaceful, whatever, right? Why would he do this in the most cheap, backwards ass Arkansas way that you can imagine, right? He's got an 1,100 acre farm, right? Linked to former President Clinton outside of Perryville, Arkansas. Who wants to commit suicide? Who wants to commit suicide? Just an unbelievable story. So yes, yet another Arkansas. Has there ever been a mafia family with as many accidents and deaths as the Clintons? I mean, you know that the mob is like, man, you guys, you got a lot of people, you know, having accidents. Unfreaking believable. What do you guys think of that? We've got a lot of people in the comments section. We're going up. When we hit 300 people live in about the next 10 seconds, we're going to have more people on this show live than the President of the United States gets. And in fact, he's getting less. He's becoming less popular by the day. Less popular. Thank you, Fuzzy, for the email there. Speaking of ideas and concepts that are less popular than ever, and bam, we just went over 300. On our way up. I think we need to hit 600, 700, 800. Somewhere in there would be a great number live. So, ideas that are less popular. Taking a knee. When was the last time we saw in America a sports team take a knee? I think they quit doing that, right? I sure hope they've quit doing it and is done. Well, an English from England soccer team decided they were going to take a knee. They thought that they would be a bunch of wokehards and take a knee while in Hungary in a soccer game. Well, there were 35,000 Hungarian fans, mostly children. And they booed the ever-loving pudding out of them for it. Now, the English soccer team and English announcers that were covering this, they wanted to let us know exactly how stupid they are. By the way, they got their asses kicked too by Hungary. The extreme stupidity coming from the sports woke-tard announcer. The guy who commented on this, he says, quote, "I have no idea why people would choose to boo that gesture. I think very often the young people, especially, they can't know why they're doing it. So they're influenced by older adults. I have no idea why people would choose to boo that gesture. Well, because it's disrespectful, because it's based on Marxist political ideology, because it was done in support of an organization that was out burning, looting, and murdering people, caused billions of dollars of damage in the summer of 22 in America alone. And you think that Europe wants that trash in their countries? Yeah, there's your idea why people boo that gesture. And then he goes on to talk about young people. Young people can't? Oh, young people especially, they can't know why they're doing it. That's booing. Well, young people are people aged 5 to 18, right? And we're supposed to believe that that these 5 to 18-year-olds do know which gender they are, whether they're born with it or not. And they're supposed to understand the risk of cutting off their genitals and taking puberty blockers and gender bender drugs, right? They're supposed to know all about that and be able to make an intelligent decision, a life-changing, eternal, permanent decision. But they can't possibly understand politics and why they're booing a crap-ass soccer team sucking up to a race-baiting bunch of putzes, right? Once again, hypocrisy. They're trying to have it both ways. They're talking out both sides of their neck and out their ass at the same time. Loved reading that story, folks. Wow. Unbelievable. Have another clue on coffee. Got to wake up, keep lubricated. I think I'm going to have a long night, folks. I think so. As long as you guys have questions, and I'll stay here. So we're going to start getting into the super chats here pretty quick. It always works this way. But this little story here, this was interesting. Mexican cartels, the drug cartels, not the oil cartels or the food cartels, but the Mexican drug cartels. They're handing out wristbands to immigrants who are entering America illegally. It's kind of like they're organizing. Isn't this interesting, folks? Since they're not being stopped, they want to give people different wristbands. I guess they're going to put them in groups and distribute them certain ways. Those wristbands, folks, is that going to benefit you and me in America, or is it going to be part of some plan that the cartels have, right? Name one. Name a single good thing that will come from allowing millions of illegal immigrants into this country with no green card, no license, no ability to work legally, What good will come from them? It's going to be pretty hard, folks. Pretty hard. And it's funny how the Biden administration and the banking cartels, they want to get rid of cash. If you take out too much cash, they're going to ask you questions at the bank. So it's not like people can just hire a bunch of illegals anymore and pay them cash, because the bank's going to want to know where that money's going. If you're a big, say, farm or corporation, right? Those days are over. They're over. So what the hell is going on if it isn't letting drug cartels move their people into this country to screw us all over? Now, we're almost to 400 people live in the first 15 minutes. This is how we do it. We build up steam, we build up steam, we build up steam. And then I say to you, get that internet address right up there and send it out to friends and family. People are waking up left and right, folks. Left and right. And it's going to get off the hook. Literally off the hook, because of what is happening in this story right here. The Vice President of the United States, the VP of cackling, she is encouraging, she's activating her leftist violent troops right now. I don't know if you caught it, because I hope you were enjoying the weekend. I hope you had some time to lay around, have a cool drink, have some fun with the family. I hope you did some of that. But over the weekend, Kamala was busy talking to her shock troops over the upcoming abortion ruling that they know is going to go against them. Yes, Kamala said this, quote, "Our collective charge in this moment is to fight with everything we've got." Let's see, she was the same woman. Yeah. So yesterday, Kamala said she wanted to save all the babies in gun control. You know, with gun control is going to save the babies. I love how they started calling school kids babies. So that was important yesterday. But now today, she wants to kill babies with the court decision that she's trying to defend. So make up your mind, wench, right? Make up your mind. Unbelievable. We just had a big, massive jump. 424 people live and growing quick. Welcome to the show. I recommend you back the video up all the way to the beginning and start, because we came out the gate punching and swinging with some great articles, some great stories. And I don't want to just start out with garbage, knowing that it'll be 30 minutes before we got a full boat. So anyways, back to this Kamala thing. If you remember, Kamala bailed out and encouraged felony violence from the terrorist of 2020's mostly peaceful summer of love, right? She bailed them out of jail when they were arrested. She turned BLM and Antifa rioters loose on America, right? To fight against the bad guys, fight for your rights with all you guts, right? Yeah, she bailed people out, Kamala did. And she encouraged them incredibly to continue what they were doing. Isn't that just amazing? Unbelievable. The super chat button up here is your ticket to asking a question. I'll make you famous, or you can ask anonymously. You can bring up a person or people, a topic, a place, a subject, a quote. You can play tell a lie, tell the truth, stump the John. There's all kinds of things that you can do. This is your show, your chance. And before we get to you guys, I have one more that I just couldn't leave alone, because these twits on the left really are complete dumbasses. By the way, hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up button. Every time you hit that thumbs up button, bink, on every video, it helps. It tells YouTube to share this video with others. It does. Now, back to this. AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She couldn't help it. She tried saying that she was, making a connection with her indigenous people roots. So I guess she's claiming to be every minority out there on the planet. But she also came out in a stupid tweet and called herself a person that works in a corrupt institution. And I thought, wow, I've got to read more of this. So here is the quote from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Quote, "It's just really wild to be a person that works in a corrupt institution, which is what Congress is, and to try and be a normal person surrounded by so much decay and moral emptiness that frankly transcends party. It's very difficult. I was up until 5 o'clock in the morning last night. I could not sleep thinking about those babies." Does she mean all the babies killed in the abortion clinics? She couldn't go to sleep at, all the way till 5? Are you kidding me? She couldn't. Amazing. The Democrats control Congress. They control the House of Representatives. They control the U.S. Senate. But she's like, it goes over the party lines. Well, really? Well, I could not sleep thinking about those babies. Remember Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, down on the border during the Trump administration. And I don't know why people in the Bronx are continuing to reelect this fucking dupe. Anyways, she did a photo op where she stood at a chain link fence called a hurricane fence in some areas and was fake crying, claiming that on the other side of the fence there were children in cages. Folks, there were no children. There were no cages. It was just a fence that she was standing at. It was a lie. It was a photo opportunity. It was bullshit. Wow. She is a used high mileage Cadillac driving liberal limousine type. Just a complete douche. She really is. She is just an awful human being. Surrounded by decay and moral emptiness. I agree with her. Congress is full of decay and moral emptiness. I believe it does cross party lines. The Democrats and rhino Republicans are all complete scum. We just hit 500 people live. Pow, nailed it within the half an hour, and we're still climbing. Sweet. Very good. Welcome, everybody. If you're just checking in, be sure and hit the thumbs up button. Do it now. And if you're just checking in, be sure and take that internet address up there, that YouTube address, text it, email it, whatever, send it out, carrier pigeon, smoke signal, I don't give a shit. But we got to get people woke up. We got to get people engaged in the conversation. Not afraid to talk, folks. Not afraid to talk and tell other people what they think. Well, I tell you, President Biden is absolutely weak. North Korea this weekend, while we were out playing, beach volleyball, doing, remakes of the Annette Funicello beach volleyball games. They used to do that. Movies used to be so innocent. Oh, that was Disney, I think, too. Now that's not how things are. They're not innocent anymore. But I hope you were out having fun. Over the weekend, North Korea fired not one, not two missiles into the East Sea, but eight missiles they fired into the sea. I think, did Kim Jong-un, did he fire one or no missiles into the sea during his presidency? Maybe it was one or two, but basically Trump went over there, met him at the border at the DMZ, and they shook hands, had a talk, basically, knocked the bullshit off. Well, with a weak-kneed, limp Biden type in office, guess what? It's starting again. We've got Iran threatening Israel and Israel saying, hey, we'll bomb your asses. I'm going to talk more about that later if you guys want to. It's your show, super chat button, donations, get the fuck back and stay back fund, all that. I'm going to let you guys direct the show. But the missiles are being fired, and we've got some big threats coming out of Europe and coming out of Russia over the whole Ukraine situation. There's an awful lot to talk about, and it's completely up to you guys as to what we're going to talk about. So take control of the show. Hit that super chat button. Bam! Hammer it hard. I just got this in. Let me read this real quick here. Oh, yeah. This is just beautiful. at a 21-year-old plus gay bar in Dallas, Texas. Children were allowed into the bar. Isn't it illegal to allow children in a bar where they serve hard alcohol? I think that's why it's a 21-year-old plus establishment, right? Children are invited on stage to perform with drag queens. Why aren't police closing the doors on this Dallas place? It's a clear violation of alcohol rules, and it's a disgusting effort to sexualize children and call it entertainment. You know, adults can laugh and make fun of things and handle things because they have probably a little more, shall we say, mature sense of humor. But children, right, impressionable. Children look to adults to tell them, you know, to help them learn. That's really the whole point of the parent. But of course, parents are domestic terrorists now in the eyes of Merrick Garland and the FBI and the Department of Justice. Completely unbelievable, folks, what is going on in this country. They're not backing off. They're not giving up. These screwballs and perverts. They got caught. What was it? You're in good hands. Was that Allstate the other day? Yeah, they were going to give kindergartners a bunch of crap, a bunch of, LGBS stuff. And they got caught and they backed off. Well, it hasn't stopped. It's not going to stop with these people. They're going to do all they can to keep it up. I got something that goes right along with that story that just got sent to me. Right. Let me continue, if you will. Milwaukee Brewers, they want to host a pre-game drag show on Tranny Appreciation Night. Are there not enough people attending baseball games? Is that what's going on here? Or have people like you and I said, we're just not going to spend our money on this. We're not going to go to a ball game where they're going to say no more guns, where they're going to say, hey, we love trannies and drag queens, and we're going to stick it in your face, right? The great American pastime, baseball. They've ruined it. They've politicized it. Want to take a knee, want to talk about guns while they make millions and millions of dollars, right? They're killing it. And I don't mean that in a good way, right? Screw Major League Baseball, the NFL, the NHL, everyone for all that matters, if they even think of putting this kind of crap out there. And they are. Bye-bye, Milwaukee Brewers. I'm sure nobody is going to line up to see what you do next. Unfreaking believable. Okay. Oh my gosh. The stuff I've got right here in the list. I wanted to give you guys a big guess what happened here. Guess what? Guess what happened? A 19-year-old University of Massachusetts Amherst lacrosse player dies unexpectedly. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to guess what the hell happened, right? Where is it? Who's going to be the first one? Why did this kid die? And I'm not laughing because the kid died. I'm laughing because of all of the lies that they are continuing to tell us, right? That we're just supposed to believe. And it is, folks, absolutely unbelievable out there what they're expecting us to just choke down. So let's do this. Let's get to some of your super chats. And it is your super chats, folks, that fund this channel. Without them, the channel doesn't make it. Without them, we don't stay here. Without them, I end up going out and doing a lot of different things. But I love being here. I love the support the channel gets. I love that you guys help each other. I love that you support all that we do. We got James Floyd with a $4.99 super chat donation. Thank you, James, very much. If you want, get a question into Jolene. Hopefully she can pick it out of the crowd. And then we're going to swap over to Crazy Uncle with a $5 super chat donation. And Crazy Uncle, famous for his prepper tips. He says, it is never Too late to learn a new skill. And I agree. He says, even if you have a physical issue, if your mind works, then work that mind. It's fantastic advice. Thank you, Crazy Uncle, for your continuing great support here. Yeah. Even if you have a physical condition, if things get nasty in your neighborhood, and they may, if things get nasty, you need to do all you can to contribute and pull your own weight. We all do. In fact, we're not just going to pull our own weight as preppers. We're going to be helping other people. I guarantee it, right? People you know. And if you've got a physical condition, you're old like me, you're going to have to say, hey, look what I'm doing. Look what I know. And then help people out. And if you don't know, you can learn. And if you don't know, you can figure it out, right? You can cooperate, learn to work with people. It's an amazing thing. Thank you for that great, great advice. Now, what kills me, though, is California hasn't figured out how this works. That's right, folks. California hasn't figured out this work. There's a county there. They are reinstating indoor mask mandates. And I haven't seen a mask. Well, no, I saw one the other day. I saw one on a person. And now it is so rare when I go out in public. I'll see one person out of hundreds and hundreds that I pass on the highway and out at the store. I'll go into a couple of stores, and every now and then I see one. It's like, wow, I wonder what they're afraid of. The mask, it's about as effective at stopping a virus as a chain link fence is at stopping air from passing through it. It's really incredible. Okay, well, just looking at the comments there for a second. What is going to happen? Let me ask you this. What are you going to do if they try and reimpose mask mandates in your state, your county, your city, or any retail store, any business? Are you going to take your business elsewhere? Are you going to walk in and make them kick you out? Are you going to tell them it's bullshit? Are you going to let them get away with it? Right? At this point, folks, I think we have enough on our side that we can say, what are you doing? Right? You're pissing people off. You're throwing money away. Right? I'm not going to support you. I really think that that's a good thing that we ought to be doing, is helping businesses understand no one buys it, no one believes it. And if they want to continue to offend us, then they can lose our business. And I really think that's why the radical leftist screwball Major League Baseball is actually throwing the first pitch out, with a limp wrist, right? They've had it. They've lost a lot of their hardcore baseball fans because they've had it with this woke nonsense. So they're going all in on it. Absolutely unbelievable what they're up to. Okay. We've got Lawrence Shippey. Oh, forgive me. It's Lawrence Shipley with a 556 super chat donation. And 556 is one of my all-time favorite numbers. Picked up a bag today. Had about 300 of those 556s all tucked away, nice and neat, ready to roll. This is what Lawrence has to say. He says, remember that there has not been armor for the legs for 300 years. Aim low. Armor for the legs, folks. Armor for the legs for the last 300 years. Make sure that predators can reach you for YouTube. Make sure that predators can reach you for YouTube. Thank you very much, Lawrence. Yeah. When it comes to protecting yourself, body armor. It's just good to have, and really, how much of your body can it cover? The idea, I think, with it is to cover the most essential parts of the body that allow you to live. Heart, lungs, abdomen, kidneys, that sort of thing. But if you get tapped in the leg or the arm, it really freaking hurts. Take it from someone who has been shot a little bit. It hurts really bad, takes you out of the game. Yeah. So if you take someone out of the game, They're out of the game. And we may end up seeing some of that type of stuff because the left-wing lunatics, they are gearing up and they're getting encouragement. They're being encouraged to be violent. They really are, and it is quite a scary thing to witness what they're up to out there. All right, we are, holy cow. While I was not paying attention, we jumped over 600 people live right now. So if you're live here on YouTube, you're live with everyone on Patreon. This is the zoo. It is Sunday Night Live. You can talk about whatever you want. Like James Floyd here, he made a super chat donation. And this is what he has to say. Oh man, I saw John Cornyn give a speech at the NRA convention in Dallas back in 2008. He looked like a snake even back then, and I live in Texas. I'll tell you what, James, when it comes to politicians, I think they are all, with very few exceptions, weasels. Absolute weasels. I'm not going to defend them beyond that. Right. The other day, Senator Marco Rubio from Florida had some good things to say. I've been highly critical of Marco Rubio, though, but I'm glad he took the position he took on this one thing. I'll encourage them when they do something right, but for the most part, they're a bunch of sellouts and wimps. Right. We've got some real stalwart politicians out there like Big Marge, Matt Gaetz, Boebert. We got some really good ones out there. We see them in the governors. Some people want to criticize all governors, like Governor Abbott in Texas, but I think he's done a pretty damn good job, all things considered. But as long as you and I are encouraging them, that's why I say we should be texting, emailing, phone calls, right? As well as telling other people, look at this link. Listen to what's being said on the Prepared Mind network. And we have a big network, folks, right? Get active politically, active locally. Get active with these politicians and encourage them when they need it, and then criticize the hell out of them. Threaten them and say, look, if you don't support the right thing on this, and they know what's right and they know what's wrong, right? You're going to pay for it. And, not physical threats, no dangerous threats, but just let them know you won't be voting for them if they don't straighten up. Because, folks, the bad guys try and appeal to them by buying them out with money. But if they're not in office, they don't get that money. So they have to do a lot more good. And we need to get good people in there, into these primary races to win and then go on and win in the general elections. And that is looking like what is happening. President Trump has been out there campaigning for non-rhino Republicans. And for some reason, he decided to endorse Kevin McCarthy, which I think is just an absolutely huge mistake. Like I said, I'll criticize any politician, including Trump, right? Why endorse McCarthy? And by the way, he got booed for it. He got booed. McCarthy was right up on stage with him and got booed. Yeah, McCarthy's a pile of trash, right? They need to let him know we don't want that. No more, no how, no way, no more garbage. What a weekend, folks. What an absolute weekend. And Crazy Uncle is back. Bam. With another $5 super chat donation. He says, food for thought. And that's really, folks, what the Prepared Mind Network is about. It's about the prepared mind, right? That's the slogan. That's the logo. Chance favors the prepared mind, right? You need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine. You need self-defense and a plan. You need to think about what's going on. Right? He says, food for thought. Thank you, Crazy Uncle. He says, if things go truly bad, there are two groups that are the most dangerous: desperate parents and drug addicts. Think about it. Well, I'm just going to lump drug addicts in the criminal class. What makes criminals in an SHTF situation, this is just my opinion, what makes them such a dangerous problem is that they're already criminal. They're already used to breaking the law. They're already used to doing things that would land you in jail for the rest of your life. They're already used to doing that. Some of them on a daily basis. They're used to it. It doesn't scare them. They're used to taking aggressive action. They don't hesitate. They don't think about it. They know what they're going to do. They have a plan, a criminal plan with their criminal mind, and they'll just go in there and do it. If you hesitate with drug addicts, right, pimps, thieves, murderers, Democrat communists from college, rum and coke. If you hesitate, they won't. That's what makes them so damn dangerous. I agree, crazy uncle. Drug addicts, especially, they're not in their right mind. They won't even wait for the appropriate time to try and kill you. They're just trying to kill you, right? Very dangerous, very dangerous. Now, number 2, desperate parents. That truly is a problem. And we've talked about this, and it's worth talking about again. It bears repeating that when there's a problem, an SHTF problem, the longer it goes, the more desperate people get. They're desperate. They're scared. They're hungry. They're not thinking clearly. They probably haven't slept very much. They've probably been traumatized. They've lost faith in government. They've lost faith in the police. They've lost faith in whatever they used to believe in, because most people, they got their head in the sand or up their sphincter, and they've ignored all the signs that you and I talk about all the time. They just ignore all the signs because they just ignore it. They'll just go away, right? They don't go away. So they become, they start entering SHTF being a little delusional, pretending they don't see what's going on. And then when things get bad, right, that delusion doesn't end. Right? Very dangerous when people are scared, hungry, tired, weak, uncertain of their future, and make bad decisions. Bad decisions is never good for us, folks. Never is it good for us. Thank you, crazy uncle. Awesomeness. Catch my breath. It is Sunday Night Live. 650 people live. That's a great number. I want to see it go up higher. I want to see that address get shipped out there, and let's get more people here live. We've got a big week coming up. We're entering the summer season. It's going to get hot. It's going to get nasty, right? It's going to get nasty. And I want to tell you, right, there's this guy. He's a politician. He's a Democrat. He is a big shot in Pennsylvania. Right? He's just a giant big mouth. He's a big a-hole. I don't like him. His name is John Fetterman. Now, he claims that he had a bad heart and got a stroke last month. It says he blew off doctor's advice over his heart for 5 years and almost died. Well, folks, this whole Jim Jones juice thing that's going around, it's continuing. If you're on Patreon, we put a lot of articles up so that you can stay current and informed over what the real experts are saying about Jim Jones juice reactions, health consequences, cardiac, pulmonary, the entire cardiovascular system. There's some big worries out there about the health as we move into summer, and there's starting to be actual people getting cerveza bug again. It's like, why? It's summer. They're really pushing it, folks. They're really pushing it. And this guy's trying to pretend like it had nothing to do with taking the Jim Jones juice. Unbelievable. But that guy, folks, that's how much they're willing to lie. The guy's sitting there, right? He's had a stroke. Looks like he's crippled. His wife is hugging him, and he's still making political statements, still pushing. Right? It's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. So if you've got a comment, suggestion, a topic, a person, if you want to talk about it, hit that super chat button up there, make a donation. It goes into the GTFB and SB fund. That's the Get the Fuck Back and Stay Back fund. And that's why I'm staying right here, because of people like the Mike D Experience with a 556 super chat donation. And he says, too many shootings, too many fires. It's not possible. Your thoughts? Well, Mike D, I'll tell you what. I agree 150%. There's too many fires. There's too many fires in food processing, food manufacturing, butcher shops, stores, warehouses, the food system, period. Chicken ranches. There's just too many. Now, is it enough to kill everyone in the country? No, but it's too many. It's too many. How about forest fires? Why is it that all of a sudden, the last, I don't know, 5, 6 years, we can't seem to manage how to put out a fire? Now, I've seen them started, folks. I've seen a lightning strike. Back when I was in the People's Republic of California, I saw lightning hit a mountain about 5 miles up the road. Right? Bam! Zzz, started smoking. Within half an hour, there was a helicopter with a bucket of water, doused it, went back, got more water, doused it, if you could put it out. Why is that so hard to figure out now? Too many forest fires, wildfires, control burns getting out of control, right? And too many shootings. Good God, too many shootings, right? Trump was president. We did have the what I call the Mandalay Massacre. Interestingly, the Prepared Mind Network knew both some high-level security there at Mandalay Bay, and we also had someone in the Las Vegas Police Department working in the IT section, had access to video footage, and yeah, there was more than one shooter. But other than that, with the Trump administration, there wasn't a whole lot of shootings. Funny, even though it's not really humorous, but funny, or shall I say fishy, has a kind of a fishy smell, that we have the school shooting. There were several shootings before this, but they seem to be ready for the one in Texas. They seem to have their media story all ready for the one in Texas, right? The Uvalde school shooting. The police seem to be ready to do nothing, and the local politicians seem to be ready to do nothing and claim that they did everything right. But the whole damn thing was too fishy. And since then, we've gotten shooting after shooting after shooting, and every shooting is mass shooting, right? We had the wacko idiot using AR-15 trying to shoot up a graduation party in West Virginia, and an armed woman pulled her piece and busted a cap in his ass and put an end to the shooting before he could actually hit somebody. And again, you can tell when someone doesn't know what the hell they're doing when they spray a bunch of bullets into a crowd and miss everyone. Also kind of tells me maybe there's a little bit of divine guidance guiding those bullets to not hit anybody. Thank God no one got hit it there. But other places over this weekend, you bet. Now, I don't know why Chicago isn't considered a mass shooting every week. You take the tallies out of Chicago, the number of people shot, the number of people killed, and then say, well, who's responsible for guns and gun safety in that city? That's right, folks. Beetlejuice, Larry Lightfoot Lori. Yeah, she's supposed to be in charge. Her policies, right, are supposed to fix things. It's not like she's new to the job. It's not like they just hired her last week to solve problems. Things have just gotten and continue to be out of control there. It's a mass shooting, but yeah, there's too many shootings. And Joe Biden is shooting his lips off. He really is. He's shooting his lips off. And I actually read an article today. It was fantastic. It was also disgusting. I sent it to the R Syndicate. No, by the way, before we get to that, the rsyndicate.com. That's a clearinghouse for all things Patriot, prepper, getting prepared, whether you need help figuring out what kind of food, right? Water, shelter, clothing, how to build a fire, how to can stuff, how to garden, anything you need to know about prepping. Discussions more about self-defense, covers all of that. If there's a channel or a website out there, Uman has it listed at the rsyndicate.com. Hopefully Jolene can flash that up on the screen while I'm, talking about this stuff. And there's also, of course, the preparedmind.club, which is your store for buying what you need to get prepared. If you haven't figured it out, right, things are nasty out there, nasty. Now, back to guns. I saw this article, and it was on mainstream media. I think I was on yahoo.com, and I go there to see what bullshit they're pressing and pushing. And I was shocked. A United States retired general. Thank you, Uman. And by the way, folks, we're up to 777 777s. I love it. Right? Jackpot. 780 now people live on the Prepared Mind Network. And we're almost up at 1 hour, folks. That's how powerful this network is. That's how you guys and your super chat support, that's what it does. It allows us to keep here live. Now, back to this general, retired Army general. He says, is there a difference between an AR-15 and a weapon of war? Now, this guy's supposed to know what he's talking about. And he says, you guys need to stop all the parsing of words and playing games. They're the same thing. There's no difference between an M16 or an M4 military and the AR-15. Oh, yeah, there is. There's a big difference, folks. It's called full auto. That's a big difference. The bolts on M4s and M16 are a little different. The trigger group is also quite a bit different. But anything that puts a round down range is dangerous. But this guy went on to say that they're weapons of war. Well, I think we covered this last week when I said the very first weapon of war, a rock. That was thrown, hit someone in the head, that's a weapon of war. A stick, beat someone on the head, that's a weapon of war. A pointy stick, that's a stabbing weapon. Those are all primitive weapons of war, and they still work today. Right? The first rock was a single shot rock. And then someone figured out they could throw rocks with both hands. Right? And then they figured out artillery, much bigger rocks. Right? They became assault rocks and assault sticks and assault spears. You know, it's all political, folks. It's all politicized. It's all driven by an agenda. These people are liars extraordinaire. Liars extraordinaire. And we're two subscribers live right now, short of being 800 live. So let's get there. I'm hoping I'm going to topple pow, just like that, 805 and climbing. We may hit the 1,000 mark today. That would be awesome if you keep sending that address, the internet address, out to people and say, you better wake up. I've been telling you, shit has hit the fan. It's going to get worse. And I haven't even got to the big nasty topics. No siree, I have not. We've got a lot more to talk about. We go 2 hours. As long as there's super chat donations that show up on the screen, pow, just like Crazy Uncle. As long as there's super chat donations, I'm here. I don't quit. This year, twice, we've actually gone 4 hours and 47 minutes. We've done it. I think we did it 2 weeks in a row. It was absolutely crazy marathon. Not saying I want to go that long, but I will if need be. And the super chat questions are in the house. We got Crazy Uncle with $5. He says, I'll bet Amber Turd wishes she was a prepper right now. SHTF is more often personal instead of regional, national, or worldwide. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to wish they were prepared. I've met people since moving to the South. Regular people, folks, men, women, people in positions of professional pay grades, you know, not just us wacko regular Joes in construction or whatever, but yeah, professionals that drive things like, I don't know, Mercedes and Jaguars, Nissans, Chevys, you know, all types of professionals. I met contractors, preppers. They've got food and weapons ready, folks, everything, right? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, all that shit. You need to have it too. Thank you, Crazy Uncle, very much for the great support. You're here every week showing us what it takes, right? What it takes is an open mind and a lot of questions, a lot of comments. And now we got Broke Stacker. Broke Stacker with a $9.99 super chat donation. And there is a super chat button right up there. That super chat button, folks. Hit that, make a donation on the topic you want to watch or the topic you want to talk about. And it may point to a movie you want to watch. I just saw the word Doctor Strange, right? Yeah, there's a new Doctor Strange out there. I don't even know if it's a remake. And he says, and thank you for the great donation. Broke stacker. The reason stackers are broke is because if they get $30, they're buying an ounce of silver, right? If they got $2,000, they're buying an ounce of gold. They're never broke. They just don't have cash because they're destroying the economy, and the value of precious metals is going to go through the roof. It's not going to be overnight. Everything is a process. It takes time, weeks, months, years. There have been people who've been stacking, folks, that I've talked to since the early 2000s, since 2008, that crash. There's been people that have been stacking all that, and they're still not gazillionaires, but they're stacking away wealth. At the very least, you just turn around and you sell it right back and pay your bills. It's a great way to preserve your wealth, especially from something like, I don't know, like a bank bail-in where they just confiscate everyone's deposits, right? And say, sorry about that. Sorry, we're going to give you some stock in our bank that has just failed. Good luck with that. Anyways, the woke garbage. Everything coming out of Hollywood today is garbage. Garbage, garbage, garbage. I mean, the best shows in the world, I think, right now, interestingly, are on Netflix, like that Ozarks thing, and then the other thing I heard about, Stranger Things. There we go. It came to me, but from what I heard, those aren't woke. They have elements of things in there, but it's not woke garbage. Everything else seems to be woke garbage. I don't watch new movies. I don't think I've gone to a movie theater. I think I saw in the movie theater, I think Deadpool 2 with my kids. I think that was the last time I went to the movie theater. Been a while. Anyways, thank you, Broke Stacker, for supporting the Prepared Mind channel with your super chat donation. Right, a hot mess of woke garbage. Doctor Strange. It almost seems like if you want to watch television or go to a movie or something with your kids, it's to sit down and say, let's try and be entertained, but let's see how they're trying to control your mind, right? Tell your kids that. They're trying to control your mind. Be aware. Look at how they're trying to trick you. They're going to tug at your heartstrings and tell you should feel a certain way. Yeah, I don't recommend doing it. But you want to hear this, folks? I've got a news story here. This one caught me off guard completely, right? Lumber prices crash 50% as the Fed goes into its tightening, its quantitative tightening. No more quantitative easing. They want supposedly to stop the inflation. So they're going to do that by raising interest rates, which punishes you. I'm sure the banks are still going to get their free money. But look out. I mean, absolutely look out. So yeah, lumber prices crashed 50%. Now, what's interesting about this is 18 months ago, approximately, give or take, here in the South, I met some people who were down on vacation, father-daughter team that own a lumber yard up in, it was, I think, Massachusetts. And they couldn't get domestic lumber. They couldn't get it. They couldn't get Canadian lumber. Way up there, folks, way up in New England for their lumber yard. They were having to get lumber sent from Germany. And everything was off the hook expensive in lumber. Lumber was double, triple in price, right? Well, that, of course, goes into the cost of building a house, etc. Something I'm pretty familiar with. But yeah, now lumber prices have crashed 50%. That's not because of the interest rates. What causes that, folks, is the fact that, well, no one's buying it. Not the way they were. In other words, they're slamming the brakes so hard in parts of the country, not all the country, just parts of it. They're slamming the brakes on so hard that housing is going to take a dive. This was a big indicator for me to put the magnifying glass on it and keep an eye on lumber prices and new housing, real estate, etc. The hotbeds of real estate action, Texas, Florida, look out, right? Those places are on fire. Other areas as well, but in liberal parts of the country, They don't seem to have that problem, right? With, lumber shortages and housing starts. Well, not to the negative side. Yeah, they can't seem to sell the stuff. So now they got lumber yards full of it. Anyways, crazy stuff. And speaking of problems, oh, shoot, we got Fourth Dimension in the house. Uh-oh, this is Kaz from the R Syndicate, and he does have his own YouTube channel. He's got a TikTok. I think he's got a TikTok. If he hasn't been kicked off it lately. We tried doing a TikTok, and literally we got canned in like a week. I'm like, wow, a week? I don't say anything bad. Oh, by the way, we're at 856 people live, meaning we're going to hit 900. We're going to hit 900. Keep telling people this address right there. Bam, bam, bam. Send that address out. Let's get, I do want to hit 1,000. I want to top that 1,000 again. YouTube, wake up, look out, hit that thumbs up button if you're here, folks. Hit the thumbs up. We're live. It's YouTube. We're live. We're on Patreon. We're live. You can ask questions live right now. You hit that super chat button, get your donation in to the GTFB. That's the Get the Fuck Back and Stay Back Fund. And we'll talk about the topic you want to talk about. Because Sunday Night Live is about you guys running the show. And right now, Kaz is going to say something with a 762 super chat donation. Now, why 762? Because Kaz likes that caliber. And here he says, a reminder to the normies. And normies are just normal people, Joe Sixpack, regular people. All gun laws are an infringement. Now, Kaz is a large, and I don't mean that meaning he eats too much. I mean, he's a large proponent of the Second Amendment. He's a big believer in it, right? And I am too. And I think all of us are, and we all should be 100% of America. All gun laws are an infringement. Now, see the Second Amendment, right? The right of the people to keep and bear arms, right? Shall not be infringed. Shall not be infringed. So any infringement, whether it's state, local, or federal, or international, right? That's a violation of the Second Amendment. In every state, folks, see, a lot of people don't realize their state constitution has a Second Amendment also. So not only is there the federal U.S. Constitution, Second Amendment, saying the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, every single state has the same thing. And to infringe something is to get close, to touch, right? To put hand on, infringe, to step over, right? Any of that is an infringement. All gun laws. There is no gun law that is not an infringement. Therefore, all gun laws are an infringement and therefore a violation. And no government, whether it's local or state or federal or international, has any authority to affect our rights. And this did come up in the R Syndicate discussion panel. We have a behind the scenes R Syndicate thing where we discuss topics before we bring them out to you guys. And that was that, there's a problem out there. There's a problem with people who think that they have a right or they have the authority to infringe on other people's rights. And in America, we still have our Second Amendment. In Canada, not so much. Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister, I should come up with some other names for him, decided the other day, no more handguns. Australia, let's get rid of our guns. New Zealand is never like guns, whatever, right? In America, folks, here, once we give up our guns, you only have to do it once, one time, and the debate is over. You see, they want to say the debate's over. You're killing babies. You're bad, right? Guns are no. It's bad people, and that argument continues to have merit. That it is the evil person, not the gun. In fact, it is the gun used by the Border Patrol agent that saved whatever kids were left in Uvalde that didn't run away, didn't hide, didn't lock themselves in the classroom, etc. Right? Gun saved those lives. That gun that lady, the civilian woman, used to kill the shooter who was trying to, become a mass murderer. Guns save people. Guns protect us from lunatics. There are far more sane people, law-abiding people than there are lunatics. And the more of us that pack some heat, the more of us that are strapped, right, the better off everyone else is, because the bad guys start looking around wondering, I don't know if I'm going to do anything here because I have a funny feeling, right? There's a lot of people carrying. That's why Texas and Florida are, rather interesting places. But many states. Now, when you have a gun-free zone, that basically tells the bad guy, if you want to kill people, go there. So courthouses, schools, right? Government buildings, retail establishments. But courthouses, they got a pretty good security system there. They got metal detectors and they've got conveyor belts and they'll search you, right? That doesn't mean someone won't come through the door blazing and blasting into a courthouse. Or what happened the last couple of days was a judge, a retired judge at his home, was the target of a murderer who showed up, zip tied him to a chair and killed the man. So judges, you are not safe, right? Nobody is safe. And it's best to have a gun and not need it than to not have one and find out you should have. And if we give up our gun laws and our rights, once you give up your right and you hand it over, the debate is over. You'll never get them to give it back, ever. Once they take it from your hands, you never will get it back. They won't change their mind. They won't say, oh, yeah, sorry. That's not how things work, right? It's not how things work. Thank you very much, Kaz. Great topic. And yeah, we'll be talking about it some more. We're closing in on 900 people live right now. So don't touch that back button. Don't change that channel. Tell other people, get here at the Prepared Mind. Get here now, super fast, do it. And let's take us up over 900 people live. We're over an hour now, and we have a lot more topics to cover. You guys get to pick. I've got my topics I want to talk about, but it's your super chats, right? You hit that super chat button, and we just keep going on your topics. This is your show, and Lawrence Shipley checks back in with another $5 super chat, and he has this to say: 2 times the murders, arson up once a week, homeless going up every week, gang wars, MS-13, and Asian gangs, and more. Can't move away? Advice. What he's saying is crime is going up. In fact, right? In fact, get this. In major Democrat cities, people have had it with the lawlessness that's being allowed, if not promoted, by the Democrat leadership in these cities. That's right, folks. Democrats run the big cities on the West Coast, up north, on the East Coast, and they're shitholes. Well, it's interesting. The Asian communities, the Hispanic, Latin communities, the Black communities, their leadership is coming out and criticizing and saying, this is broken. You need to fix it. Crime is out of control and getting worse. Gangs. I saw a video the other day of an old lady walking down the street. A thug grabbed her purse and arm and slung her to the ground, slammed her. Now, how much money do you think an old lady has in her purse? Right? Not a lot. Do you think Edith Smith Jones, do you think her ATM card is going to work without a PIN number? No. You might get a little somewhere with some internet buying, but there's nothing there. But still, these are small-time criminals, and they're committing big-time crimes, hurting people. Yeah, the homeless going up. Oh yeah. Oh, you're going to love this, right? John Deere, famous, right? John Deere green. It's its own color. Famous John Deere tractor, right? Farming the country, farming the world. They're sending their Iowa factory south of the border. One more corporation sending one more assembly line, one more manufacturing facility into another country. F you to John Deere. It's all about making money, right? No. See, corporations are supposed to be here to provide benefit to our society and our culture. That was the rule that corporations were originally created under, is if it's not beneficial to the people, then it's not allowed. Right? They have to benefit people. Yes, of course, the stockholders will make money. Yes, of course, the owners and shareholders will make money, but it has to be of benefit. Right? So taking corporations offshore and making massive profits, but in no way benefiting America. Right? Well, oh, they're going to send their tractors back. Okay, yeah, put together by some idiot in another country instead of our own idiots, I guess. Yeah, I said it. Gotta have a sense of humor. Okay. Oh, other things that are made offshore. Well, interestingly, the more technological our civilization gets, and this is not my idea, this came from some other smart people. The more technological a civilization gets, so let's just say we're talking about planet Earth, right? The big picture, right? High technology requires a little bit of this and a little bit of that material. And no one country has every single material, raw material, natural resource needed to make these highly, highly technical things like a cell phone, for example. It requires plastics. It requires special glass. It requires silver and other precious metals, other rare metals, other rare earths. Incredible amount of technology goes into making a phone. It comes from around the planet. You can't live, right? A phone won't work unless it has every single little element needed for that. Right? Say you've got 100 different elements going in to make an Apple or a Samsung phone. If you're missing one, it's over. Well, get this, folks. Oops, they did it again. Yeah, there's some music for you. Russia did it again, right? Well, Russia, they've been sanctioned by the European Union and the United States. They've been threatened by NATO and sanctioned by the UK and other countries. Well, so Russia says, hey, we're not going to export noble gases. Well, folks, here's one of those elements, noble gases. Well, like xenon or radon, those are noble gases, examples of them. Well, those are used to make computer chips. Didn't we have a problem already with computer chips and cerveza bug and the BS there? Yeah. Russia says, well, I guess if you're going to sanction us, then we're not going to send our gases. Russia has incredible natural resources. It has some that is just completely plentiful and others that are very rare. It's incredible, folks. Our glorious leaders have screwed us yet again. Oh, by the way, we're at 931 people live. I'm thinking we're going to get to 1,000. I want to see that number right there. Pow, up in my corner. It's in the corner of my screen. 1,000 people live. That would be freaking awesome. Make me very happy. Uh-oh. And Crazy Uncle is back with a 762 donation. I guess he's gone from $5 up to 762, putting his support behind that caliber. He says, prepper tip. And I love the prepper tips. Crazy Uncle, he says, find your local farmers to start buying and trading with them. Do it. The government doesn't need to know what you eat. Barter may be coming soon. Dollar collapse is not even needed. By the way, the dollar is collapsing. It's just compared to other currencies, has it collapsed more or less, right? Is the US dollar the prettiest pig in the pen, right? They spray it with some perfume, put some lipstick on it and some eyeshadow, and look at that pretty dollar. Oh, it stinks, folks. The US dollar is a giant turd. That's terrible. You know, the reason it is look at what it purchases. 1 year ago, $3 would buy you a gallon of gas. 1 year later, that same dollar is going to buy you half as much. $3 will now only buy you half a gallon of gas. The area I'm in, folks, gas was literally $2 a gallon. It is now over $5 a gallon. It's more than cut in half, right? $5 to get a gallon of gas. It was $2. It's down to half. It's less than half. The dollar has lost more than half of its purchasing power. That is a collapse. That is a collapse in the value of a dollar. Inflation means the value of your currency is worth less. Unbelievable. This is where having assets, this is where knowing where to get stuff you need is, right? Food, a farmer, local farmer that has corn, has cabbage, has squashes. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I recommend finding some of these gentleman farmers or little, shall we say, boutique or Gucci small farms. And there's nothing wrong with them, folks. They're just small. Family farms. I love them, right? That have hard squashes like pumpkin. By the way, pumpkins aren't just for kicking in on Halloween. Pumpkins are food. You know, pumpkin pie, pumpkin, winter squash, butternut squash. Geez, thank you. Spaghetti squash. All of these squashes, the hard ones, the bigger ones that are hard, thick, hard shell, they store, they last. I've made them last 18 months, just sitting on a shelf, cool, dry, consistent temperature, 18 months. You don't have to have a root cellar in order for your vegetables to last a long time, but get these squashes. They are edible, right? You cut them off, you take off the outside rind and you boil them, cook them, whatever, make them into a stew, a mash, whatever you got, a porridge type thing. You put in some butter, some cinnamon, some nutmeg, and you've got yourself a delicious soup, squash soup. They're great. Anyways, the point is yeah, local farmers. Get corn, get rice, get wheat, get anything you can. And then also this idea of bartering. Thank you, Crazy Uncle, for bringing it up. Right? Bartering. If you get to know these farmers ahead of time and other people, you can barter with them. But you need something to barter with. Now, we had our broke stacker earlier, right? If you are a silver stacker and you have like pre-1964 dimes, they're 90% silver. So you're in good shape, right? I believe it's 17 of them to an ounce, 17, 18. Anyways, I tossed that one. Figure out how much silver is in one, right? And show the farmer, educate them, farmers and other people you want to barter with, and say, I've got a handful of these dimes at home. They're 10% silver if it's past older than 1964 or older. And it has real value. And you can even show them the websites and say, see, this is what it's worth here. One of these, it's constitutional money, folks. It formerly was called junk silver because it was just, it's 90% silver and it's constitutional. It's minted by the U.S. Mint. Silver, folks, actual silver. Money used to be silver coinage. And you can sell it at a coin shop for cash, or you can directly barter it. So we're going to get to that, folks, but it's people like you that are going to educate farmers, butchers, food producers. There's going to be farmers out there, folks, that have chickens. Someone will have 50 chickens and they'll have, right, 4 dozen eggs a day, 4 dozen eggs a day, 4 dozen eggs a day, 4 dozen. They'll be getting these eggs every day and they'll want to trade them for other things. So start building your barter base, whatever it is, whatever you think other people are going to need that you can barter things for. Because we could have banking troubles, we could have supply line issues. Right? It would be nice if you had, say, 80 pounds of rice, 100 pounds of rice, and you needed something and you could trade a cup of rice for a couple of eggs with, not a huge farmer, but your neighbor who has some chickens. Figure out bartering, folks. I really do think it's incredibly important. And we're only 13 people away from 1,000 people live at an hour and 20 minutes. This is awesomely incredible. This is a big happy John smile because I know we're reaching out. You are helping. You're part of the solution, folks. You're not part of the problem. Dumbass Joe Biden is part of the problem. 90 proof Nancy is part of the problem. Up Chuck Schumer is a part of the problem. Lighten the Loafers, Lindsey Graham is part of the problem, right? You are part of the solution. We got Prepper Book Club here with a 556 super chat donation. And the super chat donation button is up there. You do a donation, you pick a topic, and then we got you down here. And he says, beans, bullets, and Band-Aids. Stack them up. I can't agree more. I really can't. I have been a prepper since 1984. Way back then, long time I've been a prepper. Got really serious when the Clintons were elected, and I was a young man. Got more serious for Y2K, if you remember what that was about. And 9/11 was the last freaking straw. That's when I was like, okay, they're going to go all the way with this. And here we are. Prepper Book Club. Oh, by the way, I should have a box of books coming from a Prepared Mind Network participant who has authored many books that are for sale on Amazon. I'm going to get that box of books and I'm going to go through them and I'm going to show them to you guys. Folks, the reason that prepper books are interesting is they are fiction. You know, they're made up stories, but they're based on real life experiences, real life human thinking, the psychology, real life politics, real life medicine. They're based on real life. A lot of these authors have a lot of experience and done a lot of research, and then they can create a story and interweave, right, how it is preppers, patriots, Americans, or patriots anywhere around the world may act, may make choices. And I've read a lot of these books, folks, and I always find them fascinating because they make me think, you know, chance favors the prepared mind, and we're only 14 people away from 1,000. I want to see that number tap, and we got Crazy Uncle back with another super chat donation, and he says it isn't just beans, bullets, and Band-Aids. Well, it isn't, but that's a hell of a good start. Anyways, he continues, he says everyone needs to have batteries. Beans, bullets, batteries, and Band-Aids. He says, however, please do your homework. Certain batteries for certain jobs. I've got rechargeable batteries. I've got regular alkaline batteries. Whatever. This is how I think. Now, you can think differently. This is not a commandment, because I don't do commandments and recommendations. I just say, this is what I do. What do you do? With my, shall we say, self-defense, I try and limit the number of calibers, so I limit the number of supplies I need to maintain. So 5.56, 12 gauge, 45, 357, keep it simple, right? Same with batteries. My, shall we say, optics, the things I use to look at the world, whether it's night vision or scopes, I keep as many of them with off-the-shelf batteries as I can get. The little dimes that look, or quarters, you know, the little flat batteries that look like quarters, those go in my scopes that have a lighted reticle. Other lasers, I try and make sure they take AA batteries. They're bigger than the little special small ones, but I try and keep it simple. But whatever you have, make sure you have a good supply of batteries. Now, I've discovered with rechargeable batteries is they don't quite have the kick, the voltage output, nor do they seem to last as long as like a Energizer, Rayovac, Duracell. They don't seem to last as long, but they're rechargeable. And if you've got a solar panel or one of the solar systems that we sell on the preparedmind.club, you can recharge those batteries. So I've got little rechargers. It's very simple, folks. Very important to keep your batteries charged if they're rechargeable, and be ready, especially when shit gets a little nasty, right? You want to reach out and touch someone, you need to be able to see them. Anyways, Crazy Uncle is absolutely right. Batteries are incredibly important. And we got sign on the dotted line transaction management with a $1.99 super chat donation. Awesome. Thank you very much. No comment there. Just an awesome donation. Whew. Thank you so much. We can't do it without you. And Cottage Farm steps in with a $50 super chat donation and says, $50? Holy cow. Hi, Prepared Mind family. Your choice, John. Lots to talk about. It's always good to have you back. And I've got one here. Let me dig in. Let me dig in. And I've got a good one. One that I've been wanting to talk about. And I've just let it go. It's right here. I've got so many. Shit. I'm going to go with this one. Cottage Farm, you're going to get the big topic. Russia threatens to, quote, strike the West if U.S. supplied rockets hit its territory. Oh, yeah. We're talking the Ukraine, Russia, NATO, U.S., UK, European Union, Brussels to Moscow war. Okay, and here we go. Holy wow! We topped 1,000 people live. Okay, Cottage Farm is responsible for this question and topic. Russia threatens to strike the West if U.S. supplied rockets hit its territory. So, I want to ask some questions. Will Ukraine surrender as Henry Kissinger, Secretary of State for President Richard Milhouse Nixon, 1970s, as he suggested? Right? Will Ukraine surrender as the best course of action, de-escalating the violence, reducing tensions in Europe, not making Russia an eternal enemy of the West? Or will World Economic Forum leaders, the Davos Bilderberg guys, will they push their political puppets in the UK, in the European Union, in the US to send rockets to Ukraine that are capable of reaching all the way into Russia and bombing Russian targets? Which way are the leaders, folks? And I don't mean leaders in a good way. They just happen to be in charge of the military. They happen to be in charge of buying. It's disgusting, right? It's just the military industrial complex. They want war because they make money off of it. Conflict, they make money off of it. It's unbelievable. And they're probably like, oh, no, we don't want war, but just in case. Well, it's for national defense. I get that, right? But why is it we're always getting in more violence and deeper, right? They want to escalate. Well, Russian leader Medvedev had this to say. And Medvedev. We dropped to 999. Back up over 1,000. Send more people to this email, internet address up here. Get that number out. I want to keep it above 1,000, folks. I'm loving it. Now, Medvedev. You might remember Medvedev. He was meeting with Barack Hussein Barry Soetoro Obama, and there was a hot mic. Someone left Obama's mic on. And essentially, I have to paraphrase a little because it's been over 10 years since Obama was the sitting president. Okay. And Obama said, well, it was in his first term. He said, wait till my second term, because then we'll be able to do more business, right? Hinting that, once I'm elected again, then I can do whatever the hell I want and there's no real consequences for it. It's essentially the upshot of what Obama was saying to Medvedev. Well, I guess the United States, NATO, and Europe don't really like Russia anymore. Anyways, Russian leader Medvedev is still in power, still a very powerful individual, and he had this to say. If, God forbid, these weapons, meaning the United States rockets that have a 50-mile reach, those are ones they're saying are going to be sent over there. If these weapons are used against Russian territory, then our armed forces will have no other choice but to strike, folks. Decision-making centers. That's right. Strike decision-making centers. What is a decision-making center? Well, right. Let's look at it, right? Because he suggested, right, that the escalation in rhetoric is getting high. He says it needs to be understood that the final decision-making centers, meaning for Ukraine, are not located in the territory of Kiev. Right? He's pointing out that the decisions aren't really made in Ukraine, in Kiev. So what's he talking about when he says decision-making centers, right? Medvedev is saying that Russia knows any and all decisions, all responsibility for any attack on its soil would be coming from other Western leaders, other Western nations. Yes, folks, the decision-making centers for Europe is Brussels, Paris, London, and even Washington, D.C. Could be directly targeted in a response to any NATO alliance or United States weapons that are fired into Russia. Now, I'm going to say this. I do not want to see that happen. I don't want to see any of this happen. I want Zelensky to surrender. I want him to cede, as Henry Kissinger put it, so that the violence stops, so that the people in Donetsk can be free from their Azov Nazi battalion tormentors who have committed atrocities which Zelensky did not deny have occurred. I want all of it to stop. I want Russians to leave the other part of Ukraine. I want these little breakaway republics. Fine, do what you want. Stop the stuff. Stop it. You're screwing up the planet. We can't get our chips, damn it. Anyways, I think it would be wise for Russia to show their determination to strike the decision-making centers in the West and maybe set off some really big bombs or a nuke somewhere as a reminder of what could happen before these idiots in Europe and DC go and lean too far out over their skis and cause a problem. If anyone of you know that one, yeah, you lean out over your skis after jumping, you land on your head and go tumbling and crashing. Right now, I'm not suggesting that Russia light a nuke off somewhere and kill people. But I think the world needs to be reminded of what a nuclear weapon does. For example, 15, I think it was megaton bomb was Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Killed tens of thousands of people. Killed women, men, children, everybody. Old, young, everybody. Burnt their shadows onto the wall. Right? That's what happened at the end of World War II when the United States of America dropped bombs. Tens of thousands of lives ended instantly. Burned city, Nagasaki, Hiroshima. It was tiny, right? It was tiny. That nuclear weapon is tiny compared to the power, the destructive power of modern nuclear weapons. And these idiots in charge think that's no big deal. And by the way, we're way back up over 1,000 people live right now at 90 minutes into the show, folks, an hour and a half. Joe Biden, Gigi Biden can't keep people occupied and watching his crap for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And he's the president of the United States. But here you are making a difference. Here you are making a difference because you shared that internet address and we're up over 1,000 and I love it. This is where we were prior to us getting stepped on by YouTube, silenced by Google, punished by Facebook, screwed over by Google, and we're building back better. How do you like that? That's some progress. Anyways, thank you very much, Cottage Farm, for the excellent super chat donation of $50. That was awesome. And then letting me pick the big old question. We got sign on the dotted line transaction management with a $19.99 super sticker. Holy cow. Who is this sign on the dotted line transaction management person? I can't see. I'm blind as a bat these days. That's why I need really good optics on my self-defense toys. Super sticker. Okay, awesomeness. We got another 25 minutes to go, or as long as it takes, right? As long as there's super chat donations and super stickers and whatever else coming on in, we'll stay here live. I don't want to do a marathon, but I do want to do a great show. And I've got this just in We got Jason M. did a 556 super chat donation on PayPal. And he says this, fuck around and find out. People call the AR-15 a weapon of war. Damn right. If I put it, I'll use it. If I pull it, I'll use it. Okay, he has a couple of statements here. Number one, his statements are completely harmless. They're not encouraging, inciting anything dangerous, harmful, deadly. It's nonviolent. It is completely for academic purposes, right, Jason? Completely academic. In other words, for educational purposes to discuss. But yes, fuck around and find out. That happens all the time. For example, the jackass at the graduation party, parents and children celebrating the graduation, and a neighbor, an asshole neighbor who had a criminal history, decided he was going to fuck around and find out. Shot, started blasting off into the crowd of people, missed everyone. So you know, like there's a God somewhere. He missed everyone, but a nice, cute little lady pulled her piece, right, and waxed the dude. So if you have to pull it, meaning unholster it, take it out, it's because it's go time, right? That's the whole point of this. Now, and I'm going to go and take Jason's comments here and go to the next step. Because earlier we talked about criminals, why they're so damn dangerous, because Crazy Uncle brought this up. Criminals are so dangerous. They're very dangerous because they're used to committing acts, criminal acts, clubbing people, shooting people, stabbing people, selling drugs, assaulting police, violating the law. They don't have any trouble acting. If you don't get good training and become very familiar with your firearm, you're going to be less likely to pull it when you need to. You're going to be less likely to effectively defend yourself and others if you're not familiar and comfortable with your self-defense item. So get used to pulling it at a shooting range so that if the time comes, you won't hesitate, just like this soft, delicate little lady, whoever the hell she was, right, that saved a bunch of lives. Very important. And by the way, thank you, Jason, for that awesome super chat donation via the PayPal button, which is up here also in the corner. And let's get this party rolling. We got more to talk about. More is coming. We got Shelly Chavers with a $5 super chat donation and says this: the cost of freeze dryers are through the roof. Would a dehydrator be a viable alternative? The answer is yes. A freeze dryer pulls the moisture out of food, preserving it. A dehydrator heats the moisture so it leaves the food to preserve it. Both are superior, both are excellent forms of preserving all sorts of foodstuffs. Now, typically a freeze dryer is used with vegetables mostly, but I do have via our supply companies. That's right. The preparedmind.club has long-term food storage. And there's the Harvest Right freeze dryer that we sell. We have long-term food storage and we have the Harvest Right freeze dryers. You can get the ovens. There's all kinds of ways to preserve food, but I've got meats. I've got, I think, chicken, shrimp. I've got beef. I've got pork sausage that is freeze-dried, as well as other meats that are long-term food storage items. I have them because the companies wanted me to test them. They taste good. They go into recipes marvelously. I used to do Armageddon in the kitchen, right? Armageddon in the kitchen. And we would do cooking and talk about how these can really taste good, right? Which is why you need spices also. You better have a good SHTF spice cabinet. Mine is right down there. Or is it down there? Anyways, got to have spices. Very important. But we sell a lot of the Harvest Right freeze dryers. Terrific. So yes, Shelly, the cost of freeze dryers is going through the roof. The cost of everything is going through the roof. Except for lumber, I guess, because people ain't building nothing. Crazy. But everything of value now is going to go up and up and up and up and up and up and up. Right? That which is needed and there's a shortage of is going to go up the most. right? Other things are going to go down. And I get messages all the time, even during this show. Stop messing with me. Good stuff. I love you guys all. Thank you for all the great support here on the channel. We got more to go and some incredible things to talk about. This is a big one, folks. Food. We were just talking about freeze drying food. We need to start eating foods that support America. We need to stop supporting the woke-tards. We need to start storing food for ourselves so we don't have to rely on the bad guys. And we're starting to learn who the bad guys are. We are. Get this, folks. Pizza Hut has a book about drag kids aimed at their children customers, pre-kindergarten. I say boycott any and all corporations that support this shit. Right? Once again, I was talking about the Brewers earlier. They want to have tranny night at the ball game. Pizza Hut, insurance companies. It's off the hook stupid. We need to quit supporting these people. Start storing, saving your own food up. Do it, right? These people aren't quitting. They're not going away. They're not going to stop. They're like Terminators. You can't bargain with them. You can't reason with them, right? They will not stop. Get this, right? Peter Navarro, arrested over the weekend, describes his arrest and being shackled over a misdemeanor BS January 6th committee attack, right? Now, understand this, folks. These people won't quit and go away. The same way they're not going to quit with Cerveza bug. They're always going to be in the background. The federal government reinstated, continued, extended the Cerveza bug emergency so that they can keep their power. Well, there is this attorney general named Eric Holder. He was responsible for the fast and furious illegal gun running using the FBI to give guns to Mexican drug cartels who ended up using them to kill American Border Patrol law enforcement. Now, Eric Holder was told that he had to appear in front of Congress and that he had to provide documentation. And guess what? He didn't. He committed the same offense as Peter Navarro, who was a President Trump cabinet member. But Eric Holder was never arrested. Why not? What has changed, folks? Everything is politicized. Remember Zelensky, folks, the world's hero, Voldemort Zelensky of Ukraine. What did he do in times of political emergency? Well, he made it illegal to criticize his party. He made it illegal to criticize him. In other words, they're over politicizing everything, whether it's wokeness or critical race theory, Roe v. Wade, guns, the military, everything is ultra politicized, right? Eric Holder commits an offense, never gets arrested, never gets in trouble. Well, today, in today's world, right, someone like Dr. Peter Navarro, who stood up to, by the way, that little jerk, Dr. F, Dr. Doom, and shouted him down in the White House, enough of your crap, right? Now, Zelensky made it illegal to be a member of another political party and say anything. He arrested people. He confiscated their wealth, put them in jail. Yeah, that's democracy for you, right? That's freedom. That's what we want to emulate. Well, Biden seems to be doing the same. The Biden Department of Justice, the Biden Attorney General, the Biden FBI is now arresting political opponents, right? Can being a Trump supporter or a Republican make everyone a criminal? Can criticizing the DC elite scum make you a criminal to be arrested when it's convenient or expedient for the government? Folks, the answer is now yes. In the United Socialist States of America, the USSA, right? The answer is now yes. They started with framing General Flynn, and they almost won and put him in jail forever. They tried ruining the election, the first one in 2016 for President Trump. They falsely accused him of everything, and that is a huge deal that's going on still to this day. They arrested Roger Stone on BS charges. And of course, they had the media there to film it all too, right? They have arrested Peter Navarro now on BS charges. Folks, you and I, and this is why the Second Amendment is so important, you and I may be a single false flag event away from being declared enemies of the DC Democrat government, creating an all-out self-defense scenario over our rights to free speech, our rights to self-defense and defending the country, our rights to being free, folks, from self-incrimination and illegal search, seizure, attacks by law enforcement, right? Is that hyperbole? Ask the Ukrainian people what it feels like to oppose their BS leader, folks, Zelensky, who has pilfered and squandered his nation's wealth and who has allowed other rich oligarchs to get in there and plunder and has made things worse by threatening Russia and causing an invasion. That's what happens, folks, when you go from being a law-abiding, constitution-having nation to being a third world banana republic like Banana Biden. Good golly. We're closing in, folks, on the 2-hour mark. As usual, my brains are just going full speed ahead. And we got T96 with a $2 super chat donation. And he says, my body is a weapon of war. It's an assault body. Well, what do they call that? In the old days, they used to say, you know, if you're a karate expert or you've been trained by the military, you are a deadly weapon. So you can't get in a fight because anytime you use your body in an action, you're using a deadly weapon. They actually used to do that. I don't know if they still do. They just throw the book at you any other way, I guess. Anyways, yes, your mind is a deadly weapon if it's trained, if you're sharp. They're afraid of that, folks. Understand, right? Police don't want to get shot. Well, I don't want to get shot either. But police don't want to do their job if it means they could get shot. They're not going to want to go door to door to door. We're here for your guns. Right? They don't want that. We don't want that. And so I don't think it's going to happen. Something else is going to happen. Brad Junes checks in with a $2 super chat donation. And he says, how can we lose our food and electricity? Let me get comfortable here. How can we lose our food and electricity? Let's start with electricity first. If the wind doesn't blow, we lose all the wind turbines. No country is successfully running itself on wind energy. Germany is an example of a nation that has closed their nuclear power plants, shut down their coal plants, and are trying to run their country on wind. And not to mention, folks, Germany, if you look like here's the equator on the globe. Here's the equator, and then here's the US up above that, and then here's Canada. Germany is way up there like Canada, northwise. They're very much farther. You know, I used to think in my head, okay, United States and then Europe are on the same level. They're not. Right? The US is here and Europe is up a lot higher. They don't have as much sun. They don't have the strong sun. So what does that mean? Well, solar there doesn't work really good either. And if the wind stops blowing, you're screwed. How do you lose food and electricity? Well, you lose electricity by relying too much on wind and sun. And in America, guess what? Even though nuclear energy is now considered green, it's not putting out carbon, right? Nothing is on fire. There's a nuclear reaction. It gets hot. They heat water with it. The water boils. The boiling steam spins a turbine, creates power, base load power. Like a single nuclear power plant is a gigawatt, huge amount of power. The small modular reactors are up to 300 megawatts. So if you have 10 or 20 of them, right, you're in the gigawatt zone, multiple gigawatts. So these nuclear reactors, they're supposed to be really good. In the United States, 20% of our power is nuclear. Well, guess what they're doing? Even though it's green energy, they're still managing to fuck that up too, and they're shutting down nuclear power plants. Just lost another one the other day up in Michigan. They've shut down a few up in the Northeast, New England. At the same time, they're trying to reintroduce, or rather introduce, these small modular reactors. Bill Gates, funny, I'm sure his is going to work just fine. Bill Gates is going to take a coal power plant, put a small modular reactor there, and use the already in place infrastructure to get that power out. Too bad that nuclear power won't be available probably until, best guess, 2030. But John, that's 8 years away. Yeah, no shit, 8 years away, right? The technology exists, but will they implement it before we get screwed up and lose our electricity? They're already threatening us, saying we're going to have problems. There's going to be rolling blackouts. There's going to be complete geographic areas in the United States this summer that are going to lose power. Now, how do we lose our food? Well, Brad, not me and you, not we as in preppers. If you're a prepper and you're using your brain, right, you're going to be fine. If there's interruptions in the food supply, you'll have food. But none of us will be exempt from the rising cost of food that's going to continue to go up and up and up and up, all the way up. The way we lose our food, meaning the nation's food supply, is food that needs to be refrigerated. Those food processing plants, well, in addition to chickens being wiped out and farms being paid not to farm, the refrigeration goes down because the power goes down and the freezers go down and the food spoils. Backup generators, diesel, whoopsie-daisy, we got a problem with diesel. Right, there's already a diesel shortage. Diesel prices are off the hooks, all-time highs off the hook. That's not going to end anytime soon. We can lose great quantities of our food, our reserves. So I recommend that you do all you can to stay prepared. All right, we got, thank you, Brad, very much for your continuing support. We're still way up over 900 people live, and there it is. Pow! Bonnie Blue checking in with a $19.99 super chat. And this is what she has to say. Quote, "The Second Amendment was never about hunting. It is about keeping you from becoming the hunted." End quote. She says, "My rabbi said this in today's Feast of Weeks Pentecost service." That is absolutely fabulous. I love to see when clergy, be they a priest or a reverend or a rabbi, and I'm not talking about the three of them walking into a bar. This is not a joke. I like to see the clergy say things like, "Stand up and act ye like men," or as Jesus said, "Sell your cloak and buy a sword," right? And this is great, right? The Second Amendment is about keeping you from becoming the hunted. That's right. Now, rabbi is right, Jewish. There is, interesting, all nationalities, all ethnicities, right down the line, folks, right down the middle. There's two sides. One side wants total authoritarian government. The other side says we want freedom, right? There is a huge contingent of pro-Second Amendment Jews out there. The same way there's a huge contingent of pro-Second Amendment Catholics, pro-Second Amendment Protestants that understand that we become hunted, regardless, folks, of religion, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of age or gender or anything. We become the hunted when we don't have our ability to defend ourselves. Now, the Jews, after World War II, they got pretty much a huge segment was just killed, destroyed in Europe. They fled for their lives. Many were put in concentration camps, millions killed, right? Murdered, rather. And so they realized that that shouldn't ever happen again. And the only way to guarantee that you don't become hunted, trapped, and put in prison or worse is to be able to defend yourself and never, ever, ever give that up. Because you only have to give up your rights once. And your protection, right? The Second Amendment protects your First Amendment. The Second Amendment protects your Fourth, your Fifth, your Ninth, your 10th, your 7th, your 8th. The Second Amendment protects the rest. Whew. But it is the First Amendment that is keeping me right here And it is you guys with all of your great super chat donations that is keeping me right here in the bunker in front of the camera going at it. And we got another $20 super chat donation coming from Johnny Freedom Seed. And he says, hey, John, SHTF's getting crappy. Thanks for keeping the community together. And as always, Semper Fi, brother. Semper Fi to you, Johnny. And this is a community. This is our network. Now, this network started on YouTube. The network expanded to Patreon. The network expanded to our website, thepreparedmind.club. The network expanded to the rsyndicate.com, which is run by Uman. The network has expanded to Facebook. The network has expanded to Instagram. Folks, there are actually, I don't know if they're still out there because I just don't have time to go look. There was a private Prepared Mind Facebook club that you had to petition to become a member of, where they discussed privately what we discuss on this show publicly. They just want to talk about it and feel safe. There's all kinds of prepper clubs out there. There's other channels that have started back when I did, like Red October, the Fourth Dimension Kaz, and then Backcountry Preps. Those guys have been with me from the beginning, and I'm with them, and we all listen to each other. There's other great channels. We got John. He's down there in Florida. Oh my God, I can't remember. There's so many other channels out there, folks. Great channels. Some talk about weapons, some talk about camouflage, some talk about food. Everything's discussed. There was a Prepper Squirrel. There's so many. There's a bunch of channels. They're all on the R Syndicate, though. Thank you, Johnny Freedom Seed. Yeah, I will keep this community together and going and talking. You bet. And sign on the dotted line. Transaction management is back again with $1.99. That's 3 from sign on the dotted line transaction management. I wonder what kind of transactions they're managing. That's interesting. Anyways, thank you again for all you do. And it's Remy Mersch from the Netherlands. And I can't do a Dutch accent. I'm just not good at that one. But it's a €10 donation, and Remy is over there in Europe, keeping an eye on for things. And this is what he says. Bilderberg is just a hotel name in the Netherlands, First meeting into the Netherlands. That's right. Does that mean the Netherlands are full of bad people? No. That's just where they chose to have their first meeting. And that's what the group has been kind of nicknamed ever since, because they met in the Bilderberg Hotel. Now, this year, they're supposed to be in the United States. This weekend, they're supposed to be in Washington, D.C., right? I would say the bowels of the belly, but I'm going to say the bunghole of the dragon, right? The belly of the beast, the bunghole of the dragon. That's where they're at. They're meeting. You've got politicians, oligarchs, corporations, military-industrial complex, people like Henry Kissinger, like him. I don't know if he's there this year, but all of these moguls and tyrants that think that they're elite and brilliant and they know how the world should run. The Bilderberg Club of Rome, World Economic Forum, all these are just different groups or different names, but it's the same people. Some of them are more quasi-governmental, like the Trilateral Commission, the Council on Foreign Nations. They try and make them sound like they're government institutions, but they're really, folks, a bunch of elitist assholes who think they know better. And what has stood in their way forever has been the United States Constitution. What has stood in the way in Remy's country is the desire of the people to be as free as possible. And I know that the U.S. Constitution is different than other countries and their constitutions, but this idea of free speech is a huge one, and they're trying to kill it everywhere. They're trying to stop. In fact, in a lot of European countries, it's illegal to criticize the government. You will go to jail, right? This idea of making everything a hate crime, right? They want to manufacture criminal or crime laws to make everyone a criminal that disagrees with them, right? This is America. I don't think that's going down the way they want. Anyways, terrific, Ramey. Thank you for the great €10 super chat donation. And sign on the dotted line. Transaction Management steps up with a $9.99 super chat donation. It says this: stockpile seeds for planting. Learn to can food. Raise farm animals to eat and stockpile ammo. Oh, I can't argue with any of that. I was looking to argue there, and I just couldn't. Say hello to the husband for me, if you will. Stockpile seeds for planting. Do not forget to get sprout seeds. There's a salad mix, and there's just like broccoli seeds, super nutritious. Look into it. Go to Chris P. Bacon's channel for the sprout thing. You can grow a fresh salad every 4 or 5 days. If you got 5 basically mason jars or mayonnaise jars, you get the lids for them, and you can grow just have a salad growing all lined up and just rotate them in and out. In addition to planting tomatoes, squashes, anything you can, and learn to can. I mean, learning to can food is incredibly important. And then also you can dry things. I mean, you've probably seen in Italian food commercials like dried tomatoes and dried garlic. You can dry your food, right? That's all a prune is a dried plum, for Pete's sake. You know, you can dry cherries, cranberries, blueberries. You can dry fruits. You can dry vegetables. You can can them. You can pickle them. Learn to pickle things. Find out what pickles, right? Vinegar, spices, and cucumbers sliced up. I've had pickled tomatoes that are just knock your socks off. And then also raising farm animals. Chickens, rabbits are small. You move up a little higher, you got goats, sheep. You move up higher, you've got cattle, right? It takes some effort, takes some time to learn, but it's worth it. And in a lot of cases, families will join other families and cooperate together. And I experienced this when I was up in extreme Northern California, right? You would make a deal with the 4-H kids and say, you know, grow an extra pig, you know, raise a pig and I'll buy it from you, right? To teach the kid about responsibility, teach children about the finances, the economics of raising food, the value of food, and then to realize a profit as well. And stockpile ammo. Like silver, I was discussing silver coins earlier, and if you didn't catch that, I recommend backing the film up. Beep, 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 back it up, and we discuss silver and barter. Folks, ammunition. Now, you don't want to give ammo to a crack dealer, right? If you turn around, they'll shoot you in the back, right? But for bartering, trading, buying and selling from people you know and trust, like farmers and others who are preppers and patriots, ammunition is a barterable item. You know, 22s, they're about I don't even know what they cost. It used to be a 22 was a penny a bullet, right? You can figure out, buy a box of 50, divide it by 50, you're going to find out how much ammo is. But, you know, there's your buck. A 22 is a buck. A 9mm is $5. A 40 or 45 is $10. A 223 is $20. I'm talking about SHTF prices, right? When people are really desperate and they need that stuff, it's going to have high value. So you stockpile ammo for self-defense, protecting yourself, your neighbors, your community, protecting your government, your local government against abusive, shall we say, foreign governments. But ammunition, incredibly valuable. Keep it in an ammo can that's airtight, moisture tight, watertight. Stuff lasts decades and decades. I've shot ammo from World War II, folks. A big old stupid M1 Garand, right? 10-round clip that holds 30-06 shells. I've shot ammunition that's World War II, maybe even older. Could have been World War I for all I freaking know. It was old. All righty, folks, we've passed the 2-hour mark and we're still going. We got Brad Junes with a $5 super chat donation. He says, John, what's your thoughts on the midterm elections coming up? Man, we don't got that kind of time. Yeah, the midterm elections, we got huge problems. Before we even get there, we've made it through the primaries. President Trump has an incredible record of supporting people who are not rhino Republicans, and he's got like 85 or 90 wins and a couple of losses. We're now going to have Republican Oz in Pennsylvania to go up against the Democrat scum there. It's not really the best of the best, but it's less, right? It was at least Trump's pick won that. We've got incredible amounts of violence coming up because of the Supreme Court decision and the fact that the left, the Democrats, the mainstream media, and the politicians are pushing for more race division, race divisiveness. You know, let's pit the blacks against the whites and the Asians and the Native Americans and the Hispanics and Latinos. It's not about color, folks. It's about policy. It's about belief in freedom or belief in tyranny. And it's incredible how many people in this country want tyranny. They want evil, because that's what tyranny is. Tyranny is evil. When a government's willing to murder its people, that's evil. That's what socialists do. And there's half the country wants to be socialist now. And they're pushing for this, folks. And they're using race as the trick. And it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting, using race as a divisive tool. Because it's easy to see, folks. I can look into a crowd of black people or look into a crowd of white people, and I can't tell who the Democrats are or the Republicans until you get a little closer and you start talking to them. And that's when you find out how they think. And I'm not suggesting we need to go to war and shoot anyone. That's ridiculous, right? But the political left wants to go to war with us. They want to take our guns away. They want to take our rights away. They want to tell us how we should live. Go get your Jim Jones juice. Put on your mask. Do as you're told. Obey. Shut up. Yada, 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 et cetera, et cetera. Now, there's a problem with the election machines. There's a problem in a few states. In fact, a great number of states are having serious lawsuits. Down in Georgia, they're doing their very best to keep their special voting apparatus in place so that they can control the outcome, is what a lot of people fear. I'm not suggesting it's going to happen. I'm suggesting that a lot of people fear that. It's important. And I do not believe anybody is going to accept the results of the election, the upcoming election. Okay. Thank you very much, Jolene. I got that message you just sent to me. Let's get to the next super chat donation. And we've got Mr. Skylight with $49.99 checking in. He says, and I love his great patriotic quotes. And he says, a quote from a great leader whose life depended on it. Quote, I hope I shall possess firmness and virtue enough to maintain what I consider to be the most enviable of all titles, the character of an honest man. George Washington. That is an incredible quote. Thank you, Mr. Skylight. That actually makes my heart feel good. I've met so many people here in the South, folks. I knew good people in California. I knew great people in California. But coming here, traveling around the world a little bit, and then settling in the South, I have met an incredible amount of honest men, good men. It is the word incredible, stunning, if you will. So I'm going to reread this quote, and thank you again, Mr. Skylight, for this great super chat donation, for contacting me, for sending me information, links, news stories, etc. Here's the quote. I hope I shall possess firmness and virtue enough to maintain what I consider to be the most enviable of all titles, the character of an honest man. We're going to find out, folks. We're going to find out. All right, let's move on if we shall. Jolene, I know we're past 2 hours, and we got sign on the dotted line transaction management again with another $4.99 super chat donation. And Jolene says she sent it twice. Okay, stockpile seeds for planting, learn to can food, raise farm animals to eat, and stockpile ammo. We went over that subject in full. Thank you there, A. And just incredible. It's an incredible topic. Go back to 1 hour and 50 minutes and play from there forward, and you'll get the whole thing that transaction management wanted to talk about. We got, well, it's Heidi. I hope everything's good in the Great White North, Heidi. with a $10 super sticker. Thank you for your support. Heidi is here, folks, every week, week in, week out, rain, snow, hurricane, cyclone bomb, right? That polar vortex. She's up in the Great White North. Thank you, Heidi, so much. Please be careful. Pretty please. Everyone be careful. Heidi, in fact, won the auction. When I was at the RMZ, I had a sweaty shirt I'd been wearing, and I did a show in it. And it's a really just a humid, super tropical place, the RMZ was. And I'd been working hard, and I did the show, and Ooman in the background decided he was going to have well, not just a silent auction, but a secret auction. And Heidi ended up winning the shirt, and I signed it with a felt pen, and I hope she was able to de-sweatify, degrossify that without, that. Anyways, Heidi, you've been great. Thank you for your support. Thank you to everybody who's been supporting the channel. And we got Chris P. Bacon checking in with a $5 super chat donation. Thank you, Chris. Head to Chris P. Bacon's YouTube channel. He is going to continue to do things that can help you. I've talked to Chris. I talk to Chris all the time. There's so many damn good people. Chris is right there at the tip top of them all. But he is a prepper. He is a thinker. He's a forward-looking man. He's helped me tremendously in my life. And he's going to be covering more topics. One of them may be having to do with silver seeds, food, fishing. I don't know what Chris is up to these days, but I tell you what, whatever it is, it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. Anyways, Chris, thanks again, man. I'll talk to you probably tomorrow morning, first thing before the sun even rises. All right. Thanks, Chris. Or what time does the sun rise? Yeah, anyways. Thanks, Chris, buddy. I'll talk to you later. Crazy Uncle is back with a $5 super chat donation. And this is what he says. He says, prepper tip. And Crazy Uncle loves prepper tips. Learn how to safely store salt. John can tell you new preppers how important salt is during SHTF. I have this talk quite often. You can drink water all day long and you can get dehydrated. Sounds strange, huh? I mean, what do you mean I'll be dehydrated? If I'm drinking water, John, how can I be dehydrated? If you don't have salt in your system, in your body, you will sweat off and lose your water faster than you can take it in. Or you'll drink so much water, you're completely waterlogged, which makes you useless, but you're still going to lose that water and get dehydrated. We need salt. Our blood has a saline solution, if you will, percentage-wise, that is very much like seawater. And I learned that as a kid watching one of those films that they used to watch back in the early 70s and then into the early 80s when they used to teach kids stuff. But yeah, that our blood is salty. Who knew? Well, yeah, you could be in Antarctica, folks. Frozen snow, miles thick, and get dehydrated and die. You have to have salt. It is a prepper item that you probably should have a couple of cans of Morton salt around for. If you live near the ocean, you can, of course, evaporate off water and you'll have salt left over, all the salt you need. If you live inland, I would recommend having 5-10 pounds of salt. You're only going to use a little spoon here and a little spoon there, but if you run out, you're going to be one sorry son of a gun. Okay, next super chat is Cottage Farm is back with a $20. Thank you, Cottage Farm, for all the great support you've given us and continue to surprise me and shock the hell out of me. Cottage Farm says, if government demands everyone's prepared items to feed and help the collective, how would you handle that? Well, let's see. The government. I would tell them, no, thank you. I don't need your help. This is a nasty topic. If you've got your living room packed floor to ceiling with preps, and the government knocks on the door and you open it up and say, what do you want? They're going to see all your food behind you. Yeah, that's not a good thing. you know, I'm sure they're going to come and say, this is how it'll start. Okay. This is how rationing starts. This is how the hoarding starts. There's a problem. There's a problem with food production, food growth, food storage, food manufacturing, food retailing. There's a problem. Those problems have started with diesel fuel, fertilizer, lack of seeds, GMO crap out there. There's a problem and it started. We've got inflation, up. The cost of things are going up and the value of the dollar is going down, Cottage, right? So we're seeing these things starting. And when things get bad, a tornado, a hurricane, a big storm, or power's going out, people panic and they go buy all they can and they clear the shelves. So we know how this progresses. Everything is progress, right? You start here and very slowly you get to SHTF zone, right? This last section. And so you're going to hear about hoarding. When the government starts saying, stop hoarding, do not hoard, right? Then you could hear, well, we need help. If you have extra food, we would like you to help others who don't. That is a big red flag. They've really fucked the system up. And we hear about this with food bank, where people donate food, right? They donate food out of charity because Americans are the most generous, noble, giving people on the planet. And they give and they give and they give. And then they get taxed. And they get the shit taxed out of them. And then Americans keep giving anyways. And when I've raised money through donations to help hurricane victims in the past, we've done that here on The Prepared Mind. It was amazing how much we were able to pass along to charities to help people in need. Americans are incredibly generous. But when shit gets really tight, right, you look at your pantry and you've got 10 pounds of rice left and, you know, a dozen cans of chili and not much else. You're like, look, I don't have anything else to give. That's when you're going to see big problems. Now, down in Venezuela, we saw food trucks getting ran off the road, attacked at stop signs, intersections, roadblocked. All of these things happen there because they had super hyperinflation, and U.S. sanctions against Venezuela made things very difficult for those people. When it gets bad, you will know. The same way if it goes Mad Max, you will know. You're going to know what time it is to pull out the fun sticks and start pointing them at people. You'll know when it's go time. You'll know when that is that important. If they're going to go door to door to collect food from people against their will, there's going to be a lot of people getting shot. Just like you're not going to take people's guns and ammo, you're not going to take their food without a fight. Because food is life. You asked, how would I handle it? I'm going to tell you right now. To me, food is life. Now, understand this. And I had this discussion with someone that I love very much the other day. I said, understand this. When people are hungry, they're going to get very desperate. Very desperate. Right? They're going to be looking for signs that people are eating well. Right? Because as we get a food shortage, people get fewer and fewer food or less food and less calories. So people are going to start looking skinny. Right? They're going to lose weight. Not because they want to, but because there's less food, not enough calories. People are their eyes will sink. They're going to look sickly compared to how they normally look. You, as in you prepper, you need to, if there's food lines, I recommend that you go stand in food line. Let people you know see you in the food line. Get your rations. If you don't ever show up at the food line, people are going to go, how is it that Cottage Farm is getting her food? How is it that John is getting his food? That son of a gun is never in the food line, yet he's eating. Does he have a bunch of food? Right? And I've got my dozen cans of chili, folks, and I've got my 20 pounds of rice. Right? And I've got my Spam. Right? I've got my Spam. So you need to put on the show. It'll do a couple of things for you. One, people won't think you've got a ton of food. Good. They're not going to come looking for you. Two, you'll get to hear the scuttlebutt. You'll get to hear people's attitudes, what they're talking about. Yeah, man, if I ever find one of those people, those preppers, I'm going to go to their house and get their shit. Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Joe Smith. It's good to know, and I'll be writing these notes. It's good to know that you think you're going to go to everyone's house and steal their food because you're a badass, right? Again, though, desperate people and desperate parents will do anything if it gets that desperate. So going to the food line, getting your rations, I recommend it so that you put on a good show. You get the intel you need. And if people start showing up at doors, there will be problems. And I think other people will be like, yeah, that's not the job I want. Just like going door to door to get guns, going door to door to get other people's food, bad idea. Bad idea. And I want to say this one more time. If you like food, I recommend, and I had this discussion the other day, sandbags. Get yourself 50 or 100 sandbags and fill them with sand. Fill them with soil, dirt. In the event that shit goes bad, you can build yourself an improvised self-defense barrier. You can put it in your yard. You can put it on your porch. You can put it up on the interior side of your wall that faces the street in case someone decides they want to send you a high-speed message. The sandbags will protect you. We could get to those times, folks. Sandbags are incredibly, incredibly important. In fact, if I didn't have this here bunker, I would probably have sandbags. And you know what? I think I need to get more sandbags anyways. The deal is, though, if you've got a bunker like this, you're underground, you don't want to really put a whole lot of fortifications topside so that people go, hey, there's something over there worth defending. So maybe we should go check it out. So be careful, but understand, folks, people do bad things in times of desperation. Thank you again, Cottage Farm. Awesome, awesome, awesome topic. And Shelly Chavers with a $5 super sticker. Thank you, Shelly, again for your great support week after week as well. Good golly, my ass is kicked, and we're rolling up on 2.5 hours. Stephen Glenn checks in with a $10 super chat donation. Thank you, Stephen. He says this, as the cost of fuel and energy go up, 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 it will suffocate every transport system, and goods and services will slow to a halt. SHTF with food, energy, meaning blackouts, water. Yeah, we got our droughts, don't we? And financial failure. Stephen, you nailed it. These are the things we're looking at. It's a series of dominoes, right? You got the domino, and when they fall, tick, 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 they take each other out. Beware of the domino effect. Energy and fuel is going up, so the price of food, supplies, goods, the delivery system is affected. People are affected. The ability to go to work, everything goes up, 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 right? Dominoes, tick, 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 start getting knocked over, right? A lot of these power plants are run by natural gas. Natural gas is distributed around the company, NG or natural gas-fired power plants. It takes energy to power the pumps, to control the system. If the power goes out in one area, does that affect the ability of natural gas to continue to flow through that area or from that area or even into that area? I'm not a natural gas pipeline expert, but I do know that there are safeties and fail safes and things that are put in line in case power goes out so that we don't have accidents, right? We don't have accidents. We're going to have some trouble. Stephen, I sure hope you're prepared. It sounds like you understand how the system works, right? We're all connected, all of us, right? Now, if you've got your Maslowian pyramid built, at least the foundation, food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, that's your bottom layer of your Maslowian hierarchy, right? You can take care of yourself, but to run a country, that's like level 4 on Maslow's pyramid. You've got to have all that stuff in line. You've got to have basic governmental services. You've got to have support systems for everything. You do not have a civilization if you don't have the fundamentals in place. As a prepper, you for yourself have fundamentals in place. And I want to remind you, You can be your own power supplier, even if the power's out. Get solar panels at thepreparedmind.club. Get battery backup there. Also, if you can, and you can safely store gasoline or diesel, get a gasoline or diesel or an LP, liquid propane generators. Now, the deal is they're loud because they're an internal combustion engine and people can hear them. Muffle them, silence them, and only run them long enough to accomplish the tasks you need. Right? But understand, people will hear that and they're like, I hear a generator, someone's got fuel, which means they have electricity, and they'll be curious, right? Curiosity killed the cat, as they say, but cats are pretty smart. People, especially desperate people, are not. I can't believe this, folks. What a fantastic show. We're still over 700 people, 2.5 hours in. And we got Nurseman 55G with a $4.99 super chat donation. He says, do you think drugs, booze, and other escapism will keep rioting at a minimum? In Washington, most seem to be numbing themselves. As a nurse, you understand the depressive effects of drugs and alcohol. And also you understand, I know, the psychology behind escapism. Escapism is the belief or the need to do other things to help distract you from what's actually happening so you can pretend like the world's a great place. It's like, oh yeah, movies are escapism, right? You can live adventure and comfort and normality through vicarious experience with a movie. Books, video games, those are all, they're essential for the human condition. But to abuse escapism is putting your head in your own sphincter, putting your head in the sand and ignoring reality. Now, I always say, take the weekend, take some time off, chill, relax. If something bad happens, people will be calling you left and right saying something bad happened. Otherwise, give yourself a chance to relax. Enjoy yourself, right? Do it. It's important. Escapism. Abusing escapism is the same as abusing drugs and alcohol, right? And when I say they're depressive, they allow you to relax. They allow you to forget, not take things too serious. Now, there are people that abuse drugs and alcohol and they go the other way. They get more wound up. You've heard of the person who's a bad drunk, right? Person that, well, when this guy takes his drugs, he gets whacked out of his head. Yeah. So it can be used as a form of escapism or as a psychological depressant. And that's my beliefs on that based on experience, based on education that I've gotten, right? All things in moderation is great. But people are, at this time, in my belief and my understanding, they are numbing themselves through escapism and alcohol and drug abuse. Whew. Unbelievable. It's going to get worse. If that's the action they tend to take, drugs, alcohol, escapism, then when things get even worse, they'll even lean on that even further. Now, that said, I do recommend having alcohol as part of your preps. Vodka, tequila, whiskey, whatever it is, right? Those are concentrated forms of alcohol known as, distilled spirits. Vodka is probably one of the cheapest you can get out there, but it serves many purposes, including a sedative or depressant, as well as a relaxant, if you want to use that term. But alcohol is used for a lot of things, cleaning, disinfecting, use it for mouthwash. It has many purposes. It'll help you make friends, but you have to be careful you don't make enemies also. But having alcohol, a highly, highly recommended prep. I put it and have it fall under the term medicine. Thank you, Nurseman 55G, for that great donation. And we got Chris P. Bacon back in the house with another $5 super chat donation. And he says, thinking of adding some fifths of liquor for barter. Seriously. Oh, I believe you, Chris. I believe you, man. But also wondering how effective vodka would be as an antiseptic if necessary. It is incredibly useful as an antiseptic. Right. Another antiseptic we know is rubbing alcohol. right? Stings, burns, has a distinct smell. It's alcohol, but that's not the kind you want to drink. Do not drink rubbing alcohol. Whew. That will, if it doesn't kill you, it'll make you blind. But rubbing alcohol, vodka, right? And of course, the higher proof, which is the percentage of alcohol. A 200 proof is 100% alcohol. So 100 proof is 50% alcohol. The higher the alcohol content, the more, shall we say, stringent it is as an antiseptic. It kills foot fungus and foot odor. Like I said, it can be used as a cleaner, believe it or not, alcohol. Another one I recommend everyone getting, and the idea of getting fifths of liquor is terrific. A fifth is a small, like a fifth of a pint. It's a barterable size. But also vinegar, folks, vinegar. It's terrific for cleaning. It's terrific, I think, as an antiseptic. It's terrific for your digestive system. It's terrific for preserving foods. German food, a lot of vinegar in there, whether you're talking sauerkraut or German potato salad. In fact, I need to make some German potato salad. You get red potatoes and bacon, folks. Red potatoes, bacon. I mean, you mix that together with a sauce, and it's just outstanding. My Swedish mother used to make German potato salad. Maybe it's a Swedish potato salad. Anyways, moving on. There's a lot of things that are cheap. Vinegar is cheap. Whether you get apple cider vinegar or white vinegar, doesn't matter. For your salad dressings, vinegar, vinaigrettes, terrific. It's good for you. And we're past the 2.5 hour mark. Unbelievable. I am freaking exhausted. You guys have run me through the mill once again on Sunday Night Live. And guess what? Tomorrow morning, the week starts, and Mineral Water checks in with a $5 super chat. He says, just checking to see if you got the Ron Foster books I sent to Jolene. Mineral Water, I believe they're somewhere between Jolene in California and where I'm at in the South. I think they're, because I gave her a fresh address last week. So we're waiting on the delivery man. I can't wait. I mentioned the books earlier. Folks, Mineral Water has written a lot of books. They're available on Amazon and maybe through some private book networks. But I'm going to get this box of books. I want to preview them. I want to show them to you guys. I can't wait. Getting prepared here, right? Chance favors the prepared mind. And if you read realistic stories based on reality, history, psychology, human nature, all that stuff, if you read books on it, it'll give you an idea. You'll be like, oh, I didn't think of that. But folks, someone else out there has thought about all of this stuff. And not just the government think tanks. Real people like you and me have either lived it or thought about it. And some people write it down. And holy cow, we got Penelope Binkley in the house. How is it going there, P? I hope you're doing great down there in your neck of the desert woods with a $20 super chat donation. It's great to hear from you. Text me anytime as you continue to do. And Penelope says this, I don't know why I can't add a message to my super chat. Just saying hi and thanks to all the Prepared Mind Network. Thank you, Penelope. We all love you. Everyone, I love all of you guys. You've been great, terrific. And we're going to keep doing this every day, folks. I'm available to absorbing the information, getting it set so that I can get it back out to you guys, and we can put on these sessions where we can all talk. We can all talk. And I do like the fact, and Uman, keep reminding me every week that I have to do a setting on Sunday Night Live where unless you're subscribed and you've been subscribed for at least half an hour, you're not allowed to comment. That keeps the trolls down. We don't need trolls and bullshit. We need intelligent conversations, cooperation, discussion. And we're getting that here. We continue to get it, and I absolutely love it. You guys have been great today about getting people to come on by sending this address out. You can still send it out, and people can watch it later. It's stored, well, forever. It ends up going over to BitChute, by the way, and Rumble and whatever else we're connected to. Jolene is just the master at getting this stuff out. And we got Remy Marsh back in from the Netherlands with a €5 super chat donation. Unbelievable, folks. Thank you for supporting the channel. The Get the Fuck Back and Stay Back fund is 100% necessary coming from you guys. You support us here. Patreon, you guys support us here. The entire network from Jolene to me to everybody that provides information and services to us. The channel, the internet website, thepreparedmind.club, right? That is your store for everything prepping. You need communications gear, body armor, ammunition, food, water, solar power, name it. Name it. It's there. Seeds, go to my Patriot Supply. They have seeds. That's where I got my heritage seeds. And thank you, Remy Marish. Great evening to you as well. If it is 8:30 Eastern time in my zone, PM, 8:30 p.m., it's got to be 4 hours ahead in the Netherlands. It's 12:30. Remy is up at midnight plus 30. Thank you, Remy, for hanging in with us. You know, we've got great people around the world. We've got Australians. We've got people. Well, we used to have a guy named Peter from Tasmania. We got some Kiwis. We got people down in South America. We got people in China. We got people in all of Europe. We even had some people in Russia at one point. News from around the world, opinion. And it's great to have you all here. Belfast, Ireland, of course. You know, we've always got Vincent over there checking in with us on a daily basis. I love you guys. Hey, I'll be back first thing in the morning. Oh, shoot. We got Militant Roots in there with a $9.99 super chat donation. He says, grow food. You bet. Grow your food. Someone's got to grow it. And if you can't get it, then you better grow your own. Do what you can to learn how to grow food, get chickens. I don't care if you milk hamsters. You know, whatever food you need to get that food going. All right, everyone. I love you much. Semper Fi, and chance favors the prepared mind is yours. God bless America. Get prepared, folks. We got a long way to go.